Back again. Back for the second time after my phone decided it didn't want to work last time. So we're here for UFC Fight Night 161. Jedrzejczyk against Waterson from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. I'm going to get that broke down for you in a little bit there. Just want to say a thank you to all the support I've had recently. I came out with a video yesterday with regarding my channel. I'm going to be sticking around and I'm just going to try and block out the hate and kind of all the negativity. Look at if I don't get picks right, I don't get picks right. I'm one of the guys that I like to get my picks right. I want to think I'm fairly half decent at getting picks right, and right now I'm not doing great, so I'm going to try and get better, guys. But just yeah, thanks for all the support. I see the chat there. I finally got it working on my phone. I had to update YouTube to get it all, so I can see you guys there. But yeah, I'm going to get into this one. I'm doing the competition for the poster I've got in the background there. I have all the people there that I need. I'm going to be doing other stuff as well regarding other posters I have, but keep an eye out for that. So yeah, people, the way it's going to run is you need to get me 5 picks. You get a point for picking the winner, the method, and the round. So that's 3 points per fight. But if you pick an underdog, you get an extra 5 points on top of that just for picking a dog. So kind of pushing you to maybe pick a couple of dogs here and there. And new subscribers. I've had a lot of new subs, and those new subs have even come in and said, "Look, I've only been around for a few videos, but we really like what you do. We like your analysis. Just please stick around and don't go anywhere." So I really do appreciate that. Some of the people out in YouTube as well that have been making videos for a long time, I really do appreciate like you guys saying, "Look, I've been around for a long time. It wouldn't be the same without you." I'm all for new predictors coming on YouTube. I've said this for years. We need new people. We need more people because there's a lot of people come out there criticise, but they'll never give you their picks. So it's a little bit weird that way. But they'll think that they're the best thing ever, but they don't put their picks out there for people to kind of scrutinise and pick when they get wrong. And like I say, you're going to get fights wrong. You're lucky if you ever get above 65-70% being a predictor, being honest with you. I've been looking over my last 7-8 years and I'm sitting at 67% for my fight picks on Tapology that I have been going through, and I mean that's 67. I don't think it's a bad amount either. So if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and just help me grow the channel as much as I can. So yeah, we're going to get into this one here. I need to try and really get my betting took a real hit the last couple of weeks. So I'm trying to. I've got a couple of bets already in this card. One of them's kind of falling off a little bit with Brock Weaver pulling out from the card. Yeah, so we're going to get into this one here. I'm not going to try and take up too much of your time, but I do like the card a lot. I really do. I think there's a lot of fine matchups. Starting off in the bantamweight division, just when I'm going on Wikipedia here, Marlon Cheetah against Andre Ewell. Now, I've just seen one of my good buddies down in there who's on Andre Ewell. I will never... I don't know what it is. I just, when I watch Andre Ewell, I've got nothing. I just don't see a high level fighter. I don't see it. I see him making improvements from fight to fight, but I just don't see the big jumps in skill that I'm going to see. And the one thing I like with Marlon Vera is, even though he gives opponents opportunities to really come into the fight, like what was the Chinese dude that came into it recently? I forgot his name. Let me quickly shake him up. Let me see. Wuji Burin. That one always sticks in my head because he gave him a really good opportunity in that first round to come into the fight. But what he does is he finds a way to win. This is what I like about Marlon Vera. Now, I had him in a parlay with Brock Weaver, and this could probably be one of these fights where I come into later on in the week and I'm like, why have I picked Marlon Vera? It was between him and a couple of the guys further on the card. I'm not seeing enough out of Andre Ewell. Now, I think he actually does have a stand-up advantage in this fight, but I think Marlon's got an advantage on the ground, but he's not a super offensive wrestler. That's the thing. So it might be one of these things where he maybe gets in the clinch up against the cage and maybe falls on going to the ground or whatever. And that's what I like about Cheeto. And like I said, I've just never been super high on Andre Ewell. I had a lot of people coming at me when I picked Nathaniel Wood against him. People were saying that Andre Ewell was going to beat Nathaniel Wood, and I was like so confident in that pick. I think he got bet down to like an underdog, Nathaniel Wood, and but like I said, he looked improved against Anderson dos Santos, and like I said, I do think he has a slight advantage with his kind of technical striking, but I like Vieira's like ability to come forward and just find a way. That's kind of where I'm going on that one. So yeah, JJ Aldridge against Lauren Mueller. I'm Lauren Mueller. I don't see it. I don't see it again. But I've been saying that recently and been kind of burned by it. JJ Aldridge, I think. That's one of the things, like, she quit in her last fight. That's true. Actually, that is very, very true. But I think more technically, I think she's a technically better fighter than just what Lauren Mueller is. Lauren Mueller, to me, I think that, well, she quit against Macy Barber. Barber's like a hurricane. She comes forward, she throws a lot of strikes. If I remember right, JJ started that fight off relatively well. And then, like I say, once she get hit, she just kind of crumble a bit. And Macy's got that type of pressure where she pushes it on you, you can crumble. I didn't expect that out of JJ Aldridge. I'll be surprised. Like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really see that coming. But I think she's a fairly decent striker. Not too much power. I think she's a wee bit technical. But Lauren Mueller, when I look at her, it's just like she came in and she was a minus 500 against Chinese chick whose name I can't really remember off the top of my head. So Yana Wu, that was it. And then she came in and she lost that UD to Poliana Botelho, where it was fairly close. Botelho got a couple of takedowns. It was close striking wise. I just think JJ Aldridge, I don't think Mueller's got like the type of power to really come in and really hurt JJ Aldridge, especially if it's a stand-up battle. If it goes to the ground, maybe she might do something that for that. But yeah, I've got Lauren Mueller. I don't really speak too much about that one, if I'm being honest with you. Excuse me for coughing there, guys. Marvin Vettori against Andrew Sanchez is up next. This has got a little bit of bad blood with it, to be fair. This was supposed to happen, I think, in Vancouver. Sanchez, I think, got the flu or he got ill, pulled out, and then there was videos afterwards of Marvin Vettori pretty much going off on Andrew Sanchez for being a pussy, for doing this, for doing that. So yeah, it wasn't a great video to watch, but he was going in on Andrew Sanchez pretty hard. I think Sanchez, like, I think he's plus 250. That's a little bit off in my opinion. I think that needs to shorten a little bit. But I do have Vettori kind of winning the fight through that. I think he's a bit more aggressive. I think he can go harder throughout the 3 rounds. I've always been fairly high in Marvin Vettori. I think that he's got a lot to his game. He can move himself forward, but Sanchez he showed in his last fight again. The Barrio fight was is, let's be honest, he's pretty kind of low level. But the win over Marcus Perez, I think, is a good win. I think Maluko's a hard guy to face, so he's on a 2-fight win streak after that kind of devastating loss against Ryan James, where he was winning initially and then got knocked out in the 3rd round there. I think he's a fairly sizable underdog. At these odds here, I wouldn't mind taking a stab on Andrew Sanchez, but I think that line's going to pretty much shorten as the week goes on here. We're only on Monday and it's coming up to 2 p.m. here. Money will come in on Andrew Sanchez. I'd be surprised if he sticks around that number for the majority of the week. I just think Vittori's got more over the 15 minutes, and that's kind of where I'm seeing winning the fight. So I'm going to go Marvin Vettori there. Probably via decision. Welterweight division, Miguel Baeza against Hector Aldana. I've been burned picking Hector Aldana and made to look a fool before. I'm not going to do it again. 4-3 fighter. I picked him against Staropoli. I think I got drawn in by the odds a little bit in that one, but Staropoli, when I watched the fights before he came into the UFC, I didn't think he looked great. Since he's come into the UFC, he's looked fantastic. He's looked fantastic, I think, in his UFC. He got a fight actually made last week, and I cannot remember for the life of me who he's against, but yeah, he's looked decent. Baeza's coming off the Dana White contender show. Really like what I've seen there. I can't remember, what was it, Caramel Thunder or something his nickname is? That's a kind of another funky nickname after, I shouldn't really mention this guy after his performance last week, but Maki Pitolo, like Coconut Bombs, I love that nickname as well. But yeah, I was looking at kind of betting Baeza putting him in the parlay, and I just felt a little bit more comfortable with Marlon Vera. Even though Marlon Vera's really not the kind of he can nail down as being super confident. I just think I'm more confident in this spot with him there. Hector Aldana is like, you can see he's got power. One of the dudes he's got no ground game. Very true. Yeah, I just like Baeza. I think that they're trying to set him up a little bit coming off the Dana White Contender show. I think this is a fairly decent matchup. Just has to be careful the first round, in my opinion, I think, because Hector comes out and throws some bombs. But yeah, like I say, I'm not... like I say, someone's going to fade the Dana White Contender series. But yeah, I've got Baeza winning this fight here. So I think he can possibly stop Hector Aldana later on in this fight. But yeah, I want no part of that fight, really. Max Griffin against Alex Morono. Now, this is one I've actually looked into a lot because I fancy actually betting the guy I'm going to pick. And I did so in his last fight when he was an underdog. So we've got Max Griffin against Alex Morono. Morono's always a guy that I've kind of admired because I don't think he shines in any one aspect. I think he fights fairly decent. I mean, he's got himself a fair few wins in the UFC. But when you look at Song Kanan, Zach Otto, Josh Burkman, they're not the most kind of high caliber Montaz, Kyle Noak. They're not super high caliber, recognisable UFC fighters, in my opinion. But he gets the job done. He's very tough. And the times that he's lost, Niko Price knocked him out. That got overturned. Jordan Main just kind of did enough in that fight. There wasn't a hell of a lot between those two, and he lost a pretty close split to Keita Nakamura. And then you got Max Griffin, who he fought that Zalima Madaev last time, and I really liked him as an underdog play against that one there. And then I see him there, he's minus 125 over here in the UK, and I like him to win this fight, but just don't get caught. He kind of fades a little bit, which is a little bit scary, but watching a couple of interviews, I think he did one with James Lynch, he's been doing like this military thing to really up his cardio, to really try and stay in better shape throughout the fight. And his losses, I mean, Colby, Zaleski, Dos Santos, Millender's a bit, but Thiago Alves, I think he should have probably got that decision. So yeah, and he came back with that majority decision against Madaev, who is dangerous on the feet, and he showed that as well. That's the one thing with Max Griffin. I think all around as a fighter, he's fairly decent, but the chin is a little bit of a worry, and if it gets in a little bit of a firefight, you've seen that Morono kind of bites down in the mouthpiece and will throw some shots. But I think that Max Griffin can actually get this one done here, so I'm going to go Max Griffin. Probably another decision. I'm starting off with a lot of decisions I'm seeing here in this one here. Deiveson Figueiredo against Tim Elliott. I think this is a bit of a dodgy fight for Figueiredo because Elliott, when he shows up, he's a tough out for a lot of people. He's coming off a long layoff. He's coming off a really bad injury. I remember he was in Liverpool, May 2018, and he was. He said to me, look, he's going to be out for a while because he's completely and utterly tore ligaments in his knee. I think it was his ACL went, and I think he had 2 surgeries in that one there. So he's been out a long time. He's not fought since he fought Mark De La Rosa a way back in nearly the end of 2017, a long time ago. But we all know what this guy's. He's very much in your face. He kind of brings the fight to you. He can be put in bad positions. He can put other fighters in bad positions. Especially if it goes to the ground, it can become a scramble fest, as you've seen with Lewis Smolka. On the feet, I think he has to be very wary of the power of Deivison. I'm not sure whether I tried to fade Deiveson Figueiredo last fight. Who was it against again? Was it Benavidez? No, it wasn't Benavidez. Let me see, I forgot. Pantoja. I think I tried to fade him with Pantoja, but in that fight there, that was a great fight, by the way. You could see that the power, when he landed, it made a much bigger difference than when Pantoja was landing. Pantoja was trying to stay in the pocket and throw with him, but he just couldn't do it. And what I like about him is he's actually got fairly decent takedown defenses figured out. He stays very kind of strong. Even though, like I say, people will get him down. Formiga got him down, but Formiga got him down with really well timed counters as he was coming in, caught him with beautiful takedowns through that. And once Formiga kind of gets you in the ground, he's a really tough guy to go off you. but then, like I say, Pantoja got him down a few times, but he was landing the more meaningful shots. He got Pantoja down in that fight, I remember. Yeah, I've got Figueiredo in this one. I think as long as he doesn't leave a neck in there, if they get into scrambling positions, he doesn't get his back taken, then I think this is a massive fight actually to see who's maybe next in line after Benavidez to fight for the belt. I've got Figueiredo. I think I'm going to pick him via TKO, honestly. I think he could come in here and knock him out with a big shot. So I'm going to go Deivison to win via TKO in the second, third round in that one there. Where are we? Ryan Spann against Devin Clark. I actually like Devin Clark in this fight. I think that he's got some fights I'm not sure about with Devin Clark, but I think this is one that he could potentially win. I'm a wee bit iffy. The gut feeling was on Devin Clark when I was watching. I thought, right, he can maybe tangle Ryan Spann up a little bit. As long as he doesn't stay in space and trying to act like he's a striker with Ryan Spann, then I think he's got a good opportunity to possibly tie Ryan Spann up and get that. I've never been saying that I tried to pick Nogueira against Ryan Spann. That's a really bad pick on my part, considering he got absolutely smoked in a couple of minutes there. But yeah, Ryan Spann, big striker. You have to be careful with that there. Wrestling, I think, is a little bit iffy. And this is where I think Devin Clark could come into it, because when Devin Clark usually wins, he usually kind of has a fairly decent wrestling game. You've got the Mike Rodriguez fight where he took him down numerous occasions. You've got the Jake Collier fight, if we're going back there. You've got the Stosic fight where he kind of won that through his takedowns. But when he tries to stand up with people, that's when he can get hurt. He tried to do it with Rakic a little bit. And Rakic has got some big bumps. In fairness, he landed some big shots on Alexander Rakic and put him down, I think. If I remember, that first kind of exchange was a little bit iffy. But yeah, as long as he doesn't get into firefights on the ground here, firefight on the feet, I should say, with Ryan Spann, then I think he can win the fight. But like I say, don't stand with Ryan Spann and think you're a striker. Think you're a wrestler. Take this fight to the ground. I think he has an advantage there. I think he has a disadvantage on the feet. So yeah, but I'm going to take a shot on Devin Clark in this spot, and hopefully can pull through as a nice dog. I kind of looked at him maybe betting him, and I thought, nah, I think I'd rather go somewhere else as a kind of dog play in the cards. So yeah, I'm going to pick Devin Clark to win, maybe via like a submission. Yeah, I might go a submission. I'll go submission. No, I'll maybe go TKO. Go with ground and pound. Late 2, early round 3, if not a close-ish kind of decision. So I'll go Devin Clark in that one there. Where are we? Niko Price against James Vick. Niko Price against James Vick. Interesting fight. Been watching James Vick interviews. Obviously, you don't really need to watch his recent fights to realise what his big deficiency was. With his hands down, with his chin in the air. If you leave your chin in the air, and with the dramatic weight cut that he had, you're going to be depleted. Now he's come in here. I think he went to the Fairtex training system in fight camp in Thailand. He spent a month out there. He realised that what his mistakes were, but he should have realised this long ago, because his chin's always been very, very susceptible to getting caught. So he needs to keep his hands up, and especially when he's fighting a guy like Niko Price, in my opinion, because I've never been super high on Niko, but the guy's a crazy bastard. He really is. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get out of him. He gets into firefights with big strikers like Al Hassan, but he'll stand in the pocket and throw. Like Tim Means was lighting that dude up. But then he just absolutely poleaxed him with an absolutely massive shot. So you can never write this dude off. He's one of those guys through a fight that if you bet against him, I'm not sure I bet against him before. Al Hassan fight, I bet against him. But I wasn't really kind of scared in that fight. But if you have to, I think I bet against him against Randy Brown. No, I picked Niko Price in that one, I think. But he can pull off crazy knockouts. Obviously that one from the bottom. But I think he's a little bit too frantic, and sometimes that kind of puts me off him a little bit. James Vick moving up to 170, that's obviously it's got to help with the chin. It has to. From what I've heard of people that have moved up, they're saying that they just feel like a complete, not an invincibility, but like they feel like they've got another layer that they've added on, where they don't feel as much. But his chin is very, very susceptible to taking a big shot, and Price throws heat. Big, big, big heat. Vick obviously got starched by Gracie, who potentially could have changed his life a little bit, because that's kind of what's went on there. Fought kind of close with Paul Felder, but I always thought he was a little behind in that fight, and then got starched by a big hook from Dan Hooker, who's making a good run up there. When you look at Niko Price, the Al Hassan one is always a fight I love watching, because like he doesn't give a shit. He'll stand in the pocket. He did that. He hurt Jeff Neal. I don't think Jeff Neal fought to his full capability in that fight. I think that he kind of played into Niko Price's game a little bit too much, and that eventually that kind of got into some sketchy spots. But eventually he came through and knocked him out in the second there. Regarding this fight, I think that technically wise, I think that Vick is the better fighter. Power's on Niko Price's side, but if James Vick can just be defensively aware, kind of fight distance, use that reach, and don't get into trading with a guy who bangs as hard as Niko Price, then I think he can win the fight. So I'm going to take another shot on James Vick by hell or high water. I've picked him a few times. I think I picked him against Gracie, which is like, oh, what a stupid pick. But yeah, like I said, somebody come up there, I can't remember, I think it was Trent, was saying that he's a good dog play. I think he's a fairly good dog play as well. I've never been super high on Niko Price, even though that he's very, very dangerous. But I think James Vick, I think all around, is just a better fighter in my opinion. So I'm going to pick James Vick. Just do not get caught on that ickle chin. That is very, very fractured at the minute. So yeah. Moving on to the main card, we've got Eryk Anders against Gerald Meerschaert. I've got Anders in this one. I'm seeing a lot of kind of love for Gerald Meerschaert, which I'm not too sure. This is the, I don't know. Some fights you look at and like, yeah, I'm not sure where the people see their confidence in. But that's the interesting thing about making predictions and listening to other people's predictions, that they'll see things that I don't see, and I'll see things that maybe they don't see. Not many things probably, but like it's always interesting. I always ask, what's your like confidence level out of 100%, and they're like 80%. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I've not, like I said, I've not been really impressed in his last few fights. Him getting subbed at home in Milwaukee. Hermansson's a dangerous guy anyway, but the Kevin Holland fight was close. I thought he was a little bit unlucky in that one. The Giles one, that was a little bit of a closer fight that he came through in the end up there. He's very dangerous with his submissions. If he can get the fight there, then he might have an opportunity to get Eryk Anders on the feet. I don't think he's in the same kind of ballpark as Eryk Anders, but Anders gives you opportunities to hit him as well. If Eryk Anders can just keep the standing with the power that he's got, I think he can hurt someone like Gerald Meerschaert personally. Meerschaert can tie you up, which is a little bit of a worry, but yeah, that's interesting. Is Gerald actually moving up? Is this at 205 or 185? It's 185, so Anders is going back down, which is a little bit, I thought this was at 205 as well, actually. Interesting. Because like he starts Mamuti, but Mamuti is one of the worst UFC fighters I think we've had in recent memory, to be honest with you. I'm so happy that I've got this chat sorted out and seeing guys come up, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah, but yeah, I've got Eryk Anders in this one. I think he can actually stop Gerald Meerschaert, so I'm going to go TKO in round number 2 for Eryk Anders. Oh shit, wrong page, sorry. Where are we? Matt Frevola against Luis Pena. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you've seen that I've tried to fade Luis Pena. I've been successful in the past. I've been not successful. I kind of haven't really picked my spots great. I picked the spot well with Mike Trezano, who I thought could fight to a good game plan and just beat someone like Pena over the space of 15 minutes. Did that very, very easily in my opinion. I thought that Trezano fought a really good fight, and then I tried to fade him against Steven Peterson, and I don't know what it is with Steven Peterson. I always want to kind of bet that guy, and sometimes it looks a bad bet. It was a bad bet against Luis Pena. Sometimes it looks a fairly decent bet when it's against Martin Bravo. So yeah, Yeah, like I say, Pena I think looked good in the Matt Wyman fight. I think that, but that's Matt Wyman coming off of a seriously long layoff. But he's got his feet under him in the UFC. He's got himself a couple of wins, which I think is really good. His time is done now. If you think that Robert Whittaker's done now, I don't agree with that at all. I just think Israel Adesanya is the man for that division at the minute. So yeah. But Pena is obviously bigger. He's got a lot of kind of physical attributes over someone like Frevola. Frevola moves forward and can get caught with shots. Jalen Turner, he came through there. I'll put a side bet on you with Whittaker's done. I don't think Whittaker's done at all. I really don't. It was a terrible kind of game plan. It was efficient, but Adesanya's just too slick, and he shouldn't have fought the way he did. Personally, after watching it, it's just the game plan was off. You don't do that with Adesanya. You need to mix up. You need to come out kind of strong with him. But getting back into this one, we're not talking about last week's card. That's done and dusted. But if you think he's done, we'll see. I still think he's got some big wins in there. I still think he can stick around and be a very, very relevant fighter at 185. Yeah, Matt Frevola, like you say, gets hit a lot. But he's very, very in your face. He will look to try and get the fight down to the mat, where I don't think he's got really an overall advantage over him down there, but like I say, he will look for takedowns. He did against Lando Venata. He did against Jalen Turner, where he got him down, and that's where he was. This is what I think he can try and do here. But Luis Pena is, I still think he's at AKA. Not entirely sure about that. Steven Peterson got him down. Didn't really do anything with it. Wyman got him down momentarily, but he was like he got his ass beat in that fight badly. If he's still at AKA, then I might have a little bit more kind of confidence in him doing that and winning the fight through that. I just feel like Matt Frevola can bring the fight out of him a little bit. But in saying that, I am going to pick Luis Pena. I do think Frevola is a very, very live fighter in this one, because I've never really been high in the kind of skill set of Luis Pena. But I am going to favour him in this one. I think that he's going to, on the feet, he is going to pick apart Matt Frevola a little bit, but I do see Frevola getting him down a little bit. I don't mind a shot on Matt Frevola, honestly, but I just think that Luis Pena, Celtic got smashed by Livingston. Yeah, I'm going to go Luis Pena in this one here. Mackenzie Dern makes a return to the UFC after having a baby, as she faces off against Amanda Ribas. Now, the last 2 weeks I've come out and said my most confident pick is this. Michael Jedrzejczyk. I thought he would fight better than he did against OSP. He did in the first round. Then last week I had Maki Pitolo, and then you got, I could not believe that, like Carlin Potter won a UFC fight. I thought that Pitolo looked absolutely dreadful. He had advantages there and just kept allowing himself to be backed up. But I'm going to come out, I'm going to say this is my most confident pick of the week. Mackenzie Dern. I've already bet her minus 138. I think she was as high as, the line's actually coming back down again, but I'm seeing a lot of love for Amanda Ribas. And the only kind of thing that people are saying is that, oh, she's just had a baby, she's coming back. And this is true. When girls come back from having, from kids, it usually doesn't look great. I always think of Alexis Davis when she came back, it looked terrible. There might have been someone else as well, but they were girls that were like in their early 30s, where Mackenzie Dern's in her mid-20s. She went, but taking the whole pregnancy thing aside, I look at the skill sets. I'm like, where does Amanda Ribas really have an advantage in this fight? Power wise, I don't think she's not a striker by trade. She's not going to come out and want to strike with Dern, because Dern's, like I've said in previous videos, she's got that kind of power. If you stand with her and she swings those big old hips that she's got into, she's got a lot of power. She showed that in the fight with, I think it was Amanda Bobby Cooper. And yeah, she knocked her out. Ribas is a complete MMA fighter, and you're not saying that, but think it this way, she's not got the striking advantage, I don't think, and she definitely hasn't got the jiu-jitsu advantage over Amanda Ribas. So where, not unless she tires out, and this is what I keep hearing, people keep saying she's going to get tired, she's going to do this, and it could happen, she showed it in the past a little bit, but I just think she doesn't have many advantages in this fight. And if she doesn't come in shape, like 8 pounds, that's true, actually I forgot about that. I just see it, even that, I just don't see her having, not unless Ribas is back on the whatever she was on when she got her USADA suspension. I don't see, I think Dern is going to really put it on her here. But like I said to someone the other day, they're like, with my most confident picks, maybe bet against them, because I've been shocking lately in my most confident picks. So, yeah, I probably shouldn't be betting on Mackenzie Dern, especially at favourite odds. But I like her in this spot. I bet her pretty heftily. I think that she's got an advantage on the feet with the power, with the technical striking. And if this fight wants to go at the ground, I think that she has got an advantage over Ribas down there. But I would never count out Ribas on the ground, because that is her bread and butter as a jiu-jitsu. And if you get into the wrong position, then you could be in some serious trouble down there. But I like Mackenzie Dern in this spot. I think she's going to actually take her out relatively early. And I've got Mackenzie Dern in that one. This is an interesting fight. Cobb Swanson and Kron Gracie. Who are you guys picking in this? Let me see. If you're in the chat here, I want to see who you're picking, because there's a lot of love for Kron Gracie, and I can see it. I can see why. I'm going with Cobb Swanson. Personally. I think that as a dog play, I don't think Cobb Swanson is a bad dog bet, but it could be made to look a bad dog bet if he decides he wants to clinch up with someone like a Kron Gracie. I find it's funny that everyone's like not giving Kron Gracie, allowing him in the gym, because the Gracie, he's fighting a Gracie. But the one thing that sticks out here, everybody knows about Kron Gracie on the ground. If he gets him down there, he will submit Cobb Swanson. But his wrestling is not great. Like, his MMA wrestling is not great. So if he can't get the fight there, not unless he can clinch him up against the cage, pull guard, get him to come into that. Swanson's going to light him up in the feet. That's plain as day. But if it goes to the ground, Gracie's going to get him there. But like I say, I've seen a lot of people, did I pick Alex Caceres against Kron Gracie? No, I never. I think I had a few people were really confident in Alex Caceres, and I was like, yeah, Alex Caceres is like a 500 UFC fighter. You can never be kind of too confident in people like that. Cobb Swanson, he's definitely on the kind of downturn of his career, but I think he's got enough to win this fight. I really do. If this doesn't hit the ground, he's winning this fight all day long, in my opinion. Kron Gracie, when you watch all of his fights, there's basically no wrestling in those fights that you watch. But like, his jiu-jitsu is like slick, so slick. It's not even funny how slick his jiu-jitsu is. And like I say, it's a big step up going from Alex Caceres to a Cobb Swanson. Very dangerous fight for Cobb Swanson to take, because he could make it's just a really, really tough fight for kind of Cobb Swanson to be taken. But you can never, I think picking against Kron Gracie in this matchup isn't a bad thing. But like I say, there's a lot of people that's picking Kron there. I'm not going to... There is a clear path to victory for this guy in this fight, but I also think there's a pretty clear path to victory for Cobb Swanson if he cannot put his back on the mat or even get caught up in stuff like that. But when you look at his fights, it does kind of worry me that Frankie Edgar ties him up, Max Holloway was tying him up. But they're guys that had UFC belts as well, so they were fairly decent on the ground, and they've won by submissions in the past as well. Kron Gracie is obviously different gravy when it comes to jiu-jitsu and stuff, but yeah, I'm going to pick Cobb Swanson. I'm going to pick him either by TKO, or I'm going to pick him to win a fairly confident decision. Not like a lopsided decision, but I'm going to pick Cobb Swanson in this spot here. I think on the YouTube predictor scale, I think a lot of people will be quite on Kron Gracie, but I fancy taking a shot on Cobb Swanson here. But like I say, I feel like I want to bet Cub Swanson, but I don't think I can probably pull the trigger on it. So yeah, Cub Swanson for me there. And the main event of the night, we've got Joanna. I was going to say Joanna champion there. Joanna Jedrzejczyk against Michelle Waterson. What are the betting odds for this? -400. Oh wow, I didn't think it was that high. I've never really not looked at the odds of that fight really at all, because I thought I don't really want anything to do with it betting wise. That's a little high. I've got when I look into it a little bit. It's obviously two strikers. You've got your kind of kickboxing style of Joanna. I think you've got the karate background of Michelle Waterson. You've got, I think that Waterson, obviously she'll have an advantage on the ground if it goes there, but she's not like super, like she's always like hit a head and arm, come over and do that like she did with Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Jedrzejczyk, she's going to not really want to tie up with someone like Waterson, just in case that happens. She's going to, both these fighters can fight at range a little bit. I think Joanna, obviously, I think she has more output. I think she has more just a variance of her striking. I think that Michelle Waterson uses her kicks really well, but I think that Joanna puts it kind of all together really, really well. And I remember watching an interview recently. She was like, "Why have you not fought this much this year to Joanna Jedrzejczyk? Because she's usually a fighter that has a few fights a year, and she just hasn't really fought that much this year. In fact, she hasn't fought this year. It was the end last year, but I think she had a little bit of a boob job. I think from what I've seen from on Instagram going back to January. So I think she didn't want to fight for that. And I remember it was something I listened to on here, and she says I wanted to make sure I was fully healed from that. And I was like, all right, fair dues. But yeah, I think that this is a good fight for Joanna. I think that if she can avoid not getting taken down, I think she's probably got the more output on the feet. And Michelle Waterson, I do think she's in a good spot in her career right now, but I still don't think she's at the level of beating Jedrzejczyk. Not only is Joanna's kind of taking her eye off the ball, not really wanting to be a champion anymore, but in saying that, she's on a 3-fight win streak. The Casey fight, the Eryk fight, the Kowalkiewicz fight. Someone said I thought that Casey got kind of robbed a little bit. I kind of agree with that a little bit. But yeah, I am going to go with Joanna Jedrzejczyk. I don't think she stops Michelle Waterson, but I think she thoroughly outstrikes her across 25 minutes. Wins a fairly unanimous decision there. So that's my picks there. I've loved having the chat back on here. Thank you for the people that have given me a thumbs up if you have already. And the people that have disagreed with me that I've seen there, it's been pretty awesome to see people have their disagreements. I love hearing other people's thoughts on fights, so having that is much appreciated. We are back. I think it's the Boston card next, and it's on a Friday night. So Chris Weidman, Dominic Reyes, that's a fairly fun card there. So I'll have that out probably next Monday. But until then, my people, enjoy the fight card when it comes around. And like I say, thank you for all the support. I got a lot of messages from you guys tell me to stick around, so on and so on. But yeah, Champ, trust me, Whitaker's finished. I'll keep an eye on that. I'll try and remember that, bro. So and we'll see. All the best. Enjoy the fight card when it comes around this week. All the best.